Well, you guys keep asking about accessible equipment for creating content as a VIP, so I'm going to keep bringing it. A while back, I did a video about this microphone. This is the FIFINE podcast microphone. Very affordable podcasting microphone coming in at $65. Well, this quickly became my favorite microphone, and I've used it ever since making that original video. Well, I reached out to FIFINE and said, this is great, but what do you guys have for a wireless microphone? Something I can carry around out and about on location, and I want to be able to use it with a lot of different devices. Well, they said, you got to check out our M9 wireless microphone system. I said, yeah, that sounds great. Send it to me. But not just the black, I got the white as well. Let's go. A huge thank you to FIFINE for sending out both the white and the black so I can make this video for you guys. Let's quickly switch from my beloved podcasting microphone to one of these wireless microphones. We'll use that for the rest of the video so you guys can get an idea of how it sounds. All right, from now on, all the audio you hear in the video will be from the new M9 wireless microphone system. Now, I'm holding it in my hand here in front of my face, kind of like a traditional microphone, because for some reason, this tends to be the trend that everybody does with wireless microphones these days. I don't get it. That's not how you're supposed to be using these microphones, but everybody does it, so I guess I should as well. No, I'm not going to conform. I'm going to do it the right way. All right, there I've got the microphone clipped to my hoodie, the way you're supposed to wear a wireless microphone. But anyway, let's take a closer look at the FIFINE M9 microphone system. I'm currently using the black one here to record this video, so we will focus on the white kit. Just know that they are exactly the same, the white and the black. The color is the only difference, except for price, which we'll talk about a little bit later. First things first, the microphones come in this very nice, high quality, hard shell case. This is going to be a great way to transport these, keep everything together, but it's also going to protect them. When we open it up here, you see that we have the microphones and the receiver inside of the charging case, but we also have some accessories. First, we have the microphone dead cat, or the wind muff. This is a simple little windscreen, a furry windscreen that clips right over the microphone element and prevents wind noise. Next, we have 3 different connection cables. This is great because these microphones work with a lot of different devices, and this allows you to connect to the most common. First, we have a cable to connect to a camera like a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. This is how I'm using the microphone right now, connected to my Sony camera. Next, we have a phone and computer cable. This will plug into a 3.5mm headphone jack. So if your phone still has one of those, you can use it that way. You can also plug this into a computer that has integrated headphone and microphone 3.5mm jack. And then the third one is another phone cable. This is a USB Type-C to USB Type-C with a USB Type-A adapter. So this will allow you to plug it into USB Type-C phones, like current Androids or current iPhones. This will also allow you to plug it into a computer as well through the USB Type-A. You can also use the USB cable to charge up the charging case. And speaking of that, let's take a look at the charging case. On the back, you have a USB Type-C port to charge up the case. On the front, when you open or close the case, you get LED indicators telling you how much charge you have on the case. When we open the case, you'll see the microphones and the receiver sitting in their own custom spots. Whenever the microphones and the receiver are in the charging case, then the case is actively charging them up. This is great. This means that whenever you take these out of the case, you know that they're going to be fully charged and ready to go. The charging case will charge the microphones and the receiver up to 3 times with a total of 30 hours of power. But if something happens, you lose the case gets damaged, it breaks, you drop it in the toilet, whatever. Each of the microphones and the receiver all have USB Type-C ports on the bottom to charge them individually. This is great. It's kind of like a fail-safe. Just in case you need that, you have those. Let's take a look at these individually. First, we'll start with the receiver. On the top, you have this LED screen. This provides information about which transmitters are connected to the receiver and the volume level, whether the mono or stereo option is turned on. The receiver, which is about the size of a dental floss pack, you know, when you go to the dentist and you get that free box of dental floss, that's about the size of this receiver. It has 5 buttons. On the left side, you have the power button, then you have the pairing button, and you have the mono or stereo button. All the microphones and receivers all come pre-paired with each other, so you don't need to do that, but you have a pairing button just in case. Then on the right side, you have the cable port, you have an A button and a B button. These 2 buttons will control the volume of the A microphone and the B microphone. So this allows you to set the volume for each microphone individually, and there's 3 levels of volume: low, medium, and high. The transmitters, or the microphones, are about 2/3 the size of the receiver, so a little bit smaller, and they each have 3 buttons on them. Button on the left, single button on the left, is your power button. The button on the right is the pair button, and then the noise cancellation button. Once again, if you need to pair these up with the receiver, you've got a button for that. And then the noise cancellation will quickly toggle on or off noise cancellation, which is internally in the microphone. On the front of both microphones, you have an LED indicator letting you know that it's on and it's working. On the top, you have the microphone element, and it's a circular element, and this is what the wind muff or the dead cat will kind of clip into. Then on the back of all 3, you have a clip. For the receiver, you can use this clip to attach it to either the hot shoe or the cold shoe of a camera. And then of course, for the microphones, you can use this to attach it to clothing like I have right now. The microphones have a range of about 50 meters or 150 feet. Now, that's not the longest, furthest range out of a wireless microphone I've ever seen. But honestly, I cannot imagine a scenario where I'm gonna need to be that far away from my camera. When you put the transmitters and the receiver back into the charging case, you get a little LED indicators letting you know that they're charging. So far, you've been hearing the raw audio coming out of the microphone. I'm not gonna be doing any kind of post-processing or any type of noise cancellation in my editing software. This is going to be what you can expect coming out of the microphone just as it is. But now I want to toggle on the built-in noise cancellation so you can get an idea of what that sounds like. Now the microphone is actively canceling out the background noise. Although in my studio here, it's pretty well treated. There isn't very much echo or anything like that. I've got a little bit of noise coming out of a computer, so it might be canceling that little bit of ambient noise. I have to admit, based on my own testing and reviews that I've watched, I'm not a big fan of the built-in active noise cancellation. I think if I needed to cancel out some background noise, I would prefer to use the noise reduction in my editing software. I think it does a much better job. All right, I've turned off the active noise cancellation, so this should sound like it did before, just the raw audio coming out of the microphone. But from here on out, I am going to do some post-processing in my editing software, clean up the audio, reduce some of the background noise, just to give you an idea of what you might be able to expect with a little bit of tweaking. All right, we've talked about the pros for the FIFINE M9 wireless lavalier system. Let's talk a little bit about the downsides. And really, I can only think of one, which is that the microphone transmitters don't have any way to plug a wired lavalier microphone into them. Some wireless microphone systems, kind of in this category, do let you plug in a wired lavalier microphone in case you want to use that. I have the Blink 500 series wireless microphones, and they allow you to plug in a wired microphone. And I do like that flexibility, especially if I'm doing an interview with someone in a more professional setting. So that's really the only downside. Now, I will say that my Blink 500 series costs almost twice as much as this microphone, a little less. And it doesn't come with a charging case, which absolutely love the charging case. So there you go, guys. This is the FIFINE M9 wireless lavalier system in both black and white. You can currently get this on Amazon, here in the US anyways, for $49.99. Well, the black one you can. The white one is a whole $1 more, $50 for the white one. I don't know why, it just is. Either way, I will have links to this in the video description down below. While you're down there, be sure to hit the like button, click subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted every time I put out a new video. If you want to learn more about me and what I do, check out the website, theblindlife.net. There you can find links to all my other socials, including the podcast. But that is it for this one, guys. Thank you again for watching. This is Sam with The Blind Life. I will see you next time.